Welcome to a windy Knockhill racing circuit. In today's programme we're going to be looking at the Scottish Sports and Saloons. Later in the programme we'll have a little look at the classic Sports and Saloons as well. But first up, as ever, are the Scottish Sports and Saloons. Loads of power here, a great range of vehicles as well. If you have a look around what we've got here, we've got BMW, a Caterham, we've got an RS Cosworth, a Sierra there as well, and on pole position is the familiar car of Ian Donaldson. 720 brake horsepower, this machine, the number one car on pole position. We're going to see if he can stay there throughout the race. I'll hand it to Richard and he'll take us through the action.
Thanks, Joe. Ian Donaldson is in the pink. He's on pole position with Paul Bryden alongside Robert Drummond and Roddy Patterson on row 2. Then it's Thompson McIntyre and championship leader William Robson. Graham Robertson is next from Ian Sinclair and Brian Meldrum. Former championship leader Scott Tolland 10th. And the grid completed by Gary Waite in the Ford Sierra Cosworth. You can see the Cosy just in front of the circuit ambulance, which is there for safety reasons, of course, at each start at the back of the field. The lights are on though, and away we go. Cracking start, as you'd expect, by the four-wheel drive Mitsubishi. Very quick off the line as well, the Class A3 Caterham of Roddy Patterson, who's into second. Paul Bryden doing his best to hang on to third place. There's the championship leader William Robson in 89, chasing Robert Drummond. 69, Thompson McIntyre is now up with the BMW M3. So Paul Bryden in that BMW, he's second in the championship, just by 1 point behind William Robson. But it is multi-class racing, so not necessarily, we're not going to necessarily see all of the championship front runners racing wheel to wheel with each other over the course of the two races. Donaldson the leader though. Roddy Patterson from row number 2 is chasing hard. Donaldson's qualifying time over Paul Bryden, some 2 seconds quicker, so he might expect the Mitsubishi to disappear off down the road. Donaldson has won 2 races outright so far this year. He's had 1 second place, which was a class win last time we saw him at the beginning of May. He's also had 1 retirement as well. Roddy Patterson missed the first meeting of the year and then took second position and class win in the first race in May and has been unbeaten in the championship since then. So he's starting to work his way up the order, Roddy Patterson, and is 6, joint 6 in the standings with Brian Meldrum, the man in Class B1 who runs in the Seat Leon Sport, and hopefully we'll see him over the course of the 2 races as well. There's Robert Drummond. Robert, regular in the championship, only 1 outing so far this year. It's a retirement at the end of May, so he's hoping for better fortune today as we pick up on McIntyre and Robson. I said that I hope we'd see the Seat. There is Brian Meldrum going through ahead of Ian Sinclair in the number 82 litre Class B2 Westfield, and then Gary Waite in the Ford Sierra Cosworth. Gary, who hasn't finished a race so far this year, so let's hope that he has better fortune. The race leader though is Roddy Patterson, looking to continue this remarkable record that we've seen from him so far this year, so looking for a 4th outright win on the bounce. The man from Edinburgh, Ian Donaldson, still in second place. Now remember, they're in separate classes. Donaldson in Class A1 and the A class cars running on the slick racing tyre, and then the treaded tyres for the B classes that take part. We've got good entries in classes A1, 2 and B1, which is 3 cars each, and that means they score maximum points, essentially 25 points for the class win. William Robson, as I mentioned, leads the championship in the Ford Focus RS 2.5 litre Class B1 car by 1 point from Paul Bryden. Bryden in the Class A2 BMW M3. And Bryden has started and finished all of the races so far. So too has William Robson. Third in the championship, Colin Simpson. And Robert Drummond is going to have another retirement by the look of it. So the bonnet is up on the 29 car, and Drummond, who we've seen, of course, over the various years we've covered the championship, a very fast racer, and sadly not his season so far. and it's a retirement, but let's hope that he can come out and play in race number 2. Gary Waite gets it a little bit sideways, chasing after Brian Meldrum's Seat. It's unusual just to see one Seat out at this meeting, because there are other Seats as well. Mark Dawson and Keith Cowie, Andrew Morrison we normally see, and the drivers tend to pick and choose their races over the course of the championship. As we hook up now with the championship leader, William Robson, running in Class B1, qualified second in class and running behind Thompson McIntyre, who goes through shot. He's the leader in Class B1, and William Robson at the moment running second in class, up ahead of the BMW of Graham Robertson, who's running on the racing tyre and running in Class A2, but nonetheless, despite being in a different class, having a good race, and gets the BMW through on the inside line and uses those racing tyres to good effect up the hill. But the championship leader, William Robson, uses the grunt of his car to go back in front, up across the line and over the hill. So Robson enjoying this race, very good race indeed, with Graham Robertson coming down into Duffus, and we'll see Robertson maybe try to retake the initiative. And again, these cars have got different strengths on different parts of the circuit. Interesting to see Robson just riding the sausage curb there, very nearly throwing the car off kilter, momentarily slightly up on two wheels. Thompson McIntyre ahead is running in 4th position in this race outright and leading Class B1. It's the A3 car though of Roddy Patterson still in front. Lights ablaze now on for the BMW. Then we catch up with Gary Waite, and here's the race leader, Roddy Patterson, well clear at the moment. Of course, he hasn't got any competition in Class A3, so all he can do at the moment, all the time there's nobody else in the class. Gary Waite doesn't need the blue flag, sticks over towards the pit wall. Still this battle continues on, Ford versus BMW, and at the moment William Robson has got the upper hand. So the B class car, remember, running on treaded tyre. Of course there'll be different levels of modification between the classes, although essentially it is the tyre that separates the classes at the moment. But we go back to the race leader, Roddy Patterson, who's got the fastest lap of the race as well, is clear of Ian Donaldson, still in second place, deals with the back marking battle, slips through on the inside line. As you can see, the BMW's got the upper hand at the moment, but the Focus is going to have a look back down the inside to reclaim the initiative. Fine race going on between that pair, and are we going to see the Focus get back in? The BMW's got the run. They can see Ian Donaldson in the pink Evo working his way through the traffic and past Gary Waite, who looks like he's going to get a finish here. Roddy Patterson on his last lap of the race in the lead. It's going to be 4 wins in succession for him here at Knockhill. He was 6 in the championship, as I said, tied with Brian Meldrum on points coming into this round, and he's got nobody else to race with in A3, so all he can do really is just come out and play, rack up the points for the class wins, which are 18 points basically for 1 or 2 starters. And there's the checker. Roddy Patterson takes the first win of the day, and a little way back, that's looking about 10 seconds to me, Ian Donaldson, well, just under 10 seconds, Ian Donaldson wins Class A1, takes second place overall. Class A2 is going to go to Paul Bryden, but meanwhile across the line goes Thompson McIntyre, who's a lap down. He finishes 4th. Oh, and problems for Graham Robertson's BMW, who pulls off. He is going to get a result. Just going through shot was Paul Bryden, who's running in 3rd place, so Paul Bryden will complete the podium. And in fact, Robertson gets going again, and on the timing screen he's going to finish just behind William Robson, so that battle did in effect continue to the flag. So it was Patterson from Donaldson and Bryden, Thompson McIntyre in 4th from William Robson, then Graham Robertson from Brian Meldrum, Ian Sinclair and Gary Waite in 9th position. Non-finished Scott Tollan and Robert Drummond.
Roddy, well done. Not a great qualifying, but there, when you have to string these laps together, your car's so strong.
The qualifying was damp, and they gave us an oil sign this morning, and my tyres won't warm up in oily circuits, so I just took it easy. I knew there wasn't much wrong with it, so I was determined to get a good start and then do the Exocet missile, lock onto the back of Ian and see what I could do.
Yeah, he's got a really quick car, but you've got the hill climb tyres, I'm guessing?
Yeah, they're softer tyres. They're actually radical ones in the rears. They're softer in the front, and it's the rears that take a while to come up, but once they come up, they're okay.
And it's pretty even pegging around the circuit once they're up to temperature with Ian?
Because the Caterham's narrower and lighter, all the way around McIntyre's and through there, the Caterham's a good bit quicker. Where Ian always used to score over me was his fantastic traction and torque, but we've managed to sort the traction a wee bit with some of the... So they're very closely matched. It's a very quick car. I think there's more in Ian's car as well.
Well done.
Thank you.
Ian, welcome back. Good to have you back here. Pole position. I predicted that nobody would touch you, but Roddy there, once he got up to temperature, he was pretty strong.
I know, flying. Roddy was flying the day again. I thought we changed a couple of wee bits and bobs, hoping we'd catch him this time, but no, he was still too quick.
We saw a wee bit drama before you got to the holding bit. You jumped out the car and ran away. A wee mechanical problem before the race had even started.
No, just the toilet.
We thought it was a problem.
No, I just last minute.
Well done.
Cheers.
Paul, well done. Another podium there. Tricky conditions out there. The wind, I don't know if it's affecting you guys.
Yeah, this morning in qualifying it was oil all over the track. Starts are getting a bit better, but the Subaru got off the line like a rocket. I've tried a few different things in the car, just try to see if it's any better or any not, but I'll look at my lap time and see how they are.
Well done.
Thank you.
Race 2 for the Scottish Sports and Saloons is about to begin, and as you can probably see, it's just beginning to rain just slightly, which could cause a huge problem for these guys, as most of them run in on a proper dry weather slick tyre. Hopefully the rain stays off. Where I'm standing is where our race 1 and pole position for race 2 starter should be. Roddy Patterson has got a problem with his engine, and unfortunately for Roddy, he's not going to make it. But it leaves Ian Donaldson on pole position in the number 1 Evo. Finished second in the first race, and hopefully gives us a thumbs up. There he is, he's ready to go, and then we're going for the win in race number 2. I'll hand this one to Richard, and he'll take us through the action.
Well, disappointment for the man who we saw sink the pink in race number 1. He's a non-starter, but it's Ian Donaldson then on pole. Paul Bryden is next with Thompson McIntyre, then William Robson and Graham Robertson, followed by Brian Meldrum, Ian Sinclair, Gary Waite and Scott Tollan. Robert Drummond will be out for another bite of the cherry as well, and he lines up on row 6. Here's the view from the back end of the grid, from down at the hairpin, the last corner on the circuit. Lighting sequence is on. Who is going to stop Ian Donaldson in this one? And out we go. It's a great start from third by Thompson McIntyre. Got away very quickly. McIntyre ahead of Bryden into second, but it's Ian Donaldson who is the race leader. McIntyre looking to climb up the standings. I'm wondering just how the championship is going to work out for all this. William Robson, of course, in race number 1, second in his class. Paul Bryden was Class A2 winner. So Bryden picking up 25 points for his trouble. William Robson 20 in his, so a 5-point drop. So that means really that we've now got a new championship leader in Paul Bryden coming into this race, and Bryden challenging for second place overall down the inside and into the hairpin, manages to pass Thompson McIntyre. Pumpherston driver then, Paul Bryden up into second place and will chase after Ian Donaldson. Ian, of course, does have competition in Class A1. 3 drivers out in A1 in this race. We've got himself, plus Scott Tollan and Robert Drummond, coincidentally, both of whom retired from race number 1. So Donaldson literally at the end of the race had no competition at all from those guys, and they as a result losing points, but are both back out in this one. The only non-starter, as you heard from Joe, being Roddy Patterson, who's got those engine problems. Good job the engine lasted at least for race number 1. Here's the view from Thompson McIntyre. Good clear track ahead of him at the moment, so akin to a track day for him just now, and the race leaders already through the hairpin. You can see Paul Bryden immediately ahead of us, and now we go up the hill. McIntyre running in third. I can tell you that Robert Drummond, who we saw retired from race number 1 with the bonnet up. That's all been fixed, as you would expect, and he's making good progress through the field. And lap time wise, we might expect the Class A1 car to be perhaps on for an overall podium, but we'll just have to see how it pans out. Donaldson the leader, Bryden second in the BMW. There is Thompson McIntyre in third place, and clear at the moment of William Robson, who is next, then Graham Robertson in the BMW. And I did say that there was progress being made from Robert Drummond. Drummond up ahead of Brian Meldrum in the Seat. Brian point scoring well. Remember, he was tied on points with Rodney Patterson coming into this round, and he'll actually move ahead of Patterson if he finishes this race. And Gary Waite having a look down the inside line now of Meldrum. So Waite pops through on the inside line in that Class A2 car. Good move from him. Good to see Gary getting a first finish of the year, race number 1, third place in class. So there is William Robson, was championship leader coming into this round. One of the things about the Scottish Saloon Sports Car Championship is that the championship lead seems to be changing round by round, and that's how competitive the overall format is. So the Scottish Motor Racing Club have got this format exactly right for multi-format racing. I'm just wondering whether that smoke is a little bit of a telltale sign that Robert Drummond might have another non-finish here. Drummond working hard to come through the field and close down on the pair battling in front of him. Resumption, I won't say of hostilities, but certainly a resumption of the battle between William Robson and Graham Robertson, who had a fine race in race number 1, and we saw Robertson having that semi-gyration out of the hairpin in the closing stages of race number 1. But here now comes Robert Drummond, passes the two of them as if they're standing still. Remember that Drummond's car, 2 litre Class A1 car, and he's using the power and the grip that's there. The BMW is going to come up the inside line as well. Robertson goes past William Robson. They really are very evenly matched, those two, as we saw in race number 1. And a joy to watch once again here in race 2. But the Focus is responding again, goes back into the lead. You see Gary Waite's trying to close down on them. Ford, BMW, Ford, the order of this battle at the moment. Well, to be fair, Gary a little bit further down, and if we want to include Robert Drummond in it, it's Ford, BMW, Ford. Through the chicane we go again, and masses of smoke, and the problem there for the Westfield. So non-start for the Caterham, DNF for the Westfield of Ian Sinclair. The man from Dunoon is out of the race, only his second start of the year. This is his first meeting with us this year. This pair still at it, Robson and Robertson, and it's Robson on the inside line, and Gary Waite has done superbly to close in on these three. So it's a three-way tussle now for 5th position. Got the slippery track flag going out, which generically I guess we could call the oil flag. So some fluid on circuit, probably from Ian Sinclair's blow-up. So the drivers will be very aware of that. Gary Waite's managed to get past the BMW, so Waite in the A2 class car passes Graham Robertson, who is also in class A2. So Gary Waite on for some better points here, and maybe on for second position in class A2 at the moment, led by Paul Bryden, the championship leader. And Waite's going to have a look at the inside line, thought about it, was just decided, I think maybe he's got a little bit more time to have a go and claim the position off William Robson. They're dicing for 5th place. Ahead of them, Thompson McIntyre in 4th. Robert Drummond is still making progress as well, and it's still Paul Bryden ahead of him, with Ian Donaldson leading the race. Gary Waite goes down into Scotsman corner, so the newer Ford model up front, the Focus ahead of the Sierra Cosworth. And then I've got to say, Graham Robertson running well, his 3.2 litre BMW E46 M3 in 7th place. Behind them it's Brian Meldrum and Scott Tollan. The non-finishers seem to be bunching, don't they, or collecting together. 2 Class A1 cars in race 1 and the 2 kit cars effectively in race 2. thankfully, Tolland and Drummond still continuing on their way. Scott Tolland running third in class, 9th on the road at the moment, but it's still Ian Donaldson out front in his second race of the day. And here he is, Donaldson onto his last lap, fastest lap of the race in this one as well. He's only missed one meeting so far this year, so in terms of points missed, a retirement in race 2 of the season, and our last meeting here in May didn't contest, but it's good to see him back, and he is on his way to a third outright win of the year. Paul Bryden pops a lap on Brian Meldrum. This lap 12, incidentally, 12 lap races for the Scottish Saloon Sports Car Championship, and Donaldson is untroubled. I don't think he's going to lap anybody else. Let's have a quick look up the hill, and indeed ahead of him, Graham Robertson is not going to be lapped. There's the checker. Ian Donaldson takes the win, the overall win, to add to the class win he had in race 1. Paul Bryden, the championship leader, takes second place. Brian Meldrum is third in class B1, crosses the line in 8th position, and we wait for more runners to come up the hill and take the checkered flag. We've got a little bit of a gap, in fact it's a long gap, before we see the remainder of the field. Who is it that's going to emerge in third place? Well, there in white and green is Robert Drummond, who's come through from the back of the field to gain a well-earned podium in the Ford Escort Cosworth. He takes third place. Thompson McIntyre is going to come home in 4th position. Here is Thompson ahead of William Robson and Graham Waite. You saw Scott Tolland in the mix as well, and following them Graham Robertson in the number 63 car, who finishes in 7th place. So Donaldson the winner from Bryden, Drummond, McIntyre and Robson. Gary Waite 6th from Graham Robertson, then Brian Meldrum from Scott Tolland, and non-finish for Ian Sinclair.
Ian, another win, no Roddy to play with this time, made it a little bit boring for you almost.
Aye, it was hard to catch him. Well, I wasn't catching him, but it's better to try and chase someone and just go around taking it easy, to be honest with you. So,
if that rain had come down, would they have stopped the race for you to change to a wet tyre, or would you just have to carry on battering through with the slicks?
no, I just carried on.
You're a brave man, well done.
Cheers.
Paul, another good result. You must be stacking up the silverware at home there. It's a second place on this occasion.
Yeah, delighted to finish yet again. Tried a couple of different things in the car. It was a wee bit slidey in bits and places, but the tyres seem to be holding now. They were going off in the races before, but we've managed to suss it out, so lap times are staying consistent, so happy with that.
What can you do to get to Ian?
Oh, nothing. Another 200 horsepower probably.
Well done.
Thank you.
And it's our third place finisher in the Subaru, Thompson. A great job. Some easier conditions out there.
Aye, well, it was easy for me anyway. It felt easy. Didn't feel that near the end of the race, because I think my front tyre, because it's like road going tyres we use, so they're not as good as the slick, so you can't really, you can compete with them at the start of the race, but you can't compete near the end.
You must have been laughing at the start where it started to rain a wee bit.
Aye, well, I was actually hoping for a wee bit more, but at least I got along outside Ian at the start of the race anyway, just to see the colour of his eyes.
But well done.
No bother, thanks very much.